Fish stories come true on Ballard's legendary Emancipator. Brad Buskey's earliest memories are of old salts, playing pinochle, smoking cheroots, and telling fish tales on the Everett waterfront, where his family runs a seafood processing company. One story consistently stood out, burnished in the retelling, and Buskey knows it by heart. It happened in the late summer of 1958, after a robust season for sockeye in Puget Sound. Of 400 local purse-seiners vying for salmon, the Emancipator, a slick 65-foot wooden boat built in 1918 by the Scansey brothers of Gig Harbor, had finished among the top 10 boats for gross stock. In 28 consecutive days, its nets had hauled in a respectable 25,000 fish. When the State Fish Commission offered a last-minute extension, declaring a one-day open season on Fraser River sockeyes, Emancipator owner and skipper Nick Barhanovich jumped at the chance. "And if we happen to catch a few fish," recalls crew member Ray Fadich in his 2020 book The Big Run, "that would be icing on our cake." Joining a flotilla of competing boats near Point Roberts, the Emancipator initiated a set and then began pulling in its sends. What happened next was mind-boggling. Within the enclosed circle of nets, Fadich described a frenzy of teeming fish, water boiling as if in a huge cooking pot. The delighted crew filled the hold to the brim, then loaded the deck gunwale deep till the stern was almost awash. Fadich worked the bilge pumps till he was blue in the face, just to keep the vessel above water. That single set comprised 15,000 fish, nearly 80,000 pounds. It was one of the single largest catches in Puget Sound history. Today, Brad Buskey, 36, is the proud owner of the Emancipator, which he bought for $1 in 2013. By that time, the boat was basically floating dirt, he says. We removed the old fish hold with a shovel. The Emancipator was transferred to Port Townsend, where Buskey says master shipwrights rebuilt it beam by beam. We did our best to keep all the lines as original as possible, trying to preserve its history, not to create a dead replica, but a working boat with a purpose. Buskey views himself as a caretaker of that history. To me, he says, this boat is a living thing. There's oil and sweat and fish juice soaked into its timbers. Several months a year, with Buskey at the helm, the Emancipator continues to ply Puget Sound as a tender, transporting fish between today's salmon fleet and his family's cannery, adding salty chapters to its ongoing story. In our first then photo, the Emancipator in late summer 1958, prior to its record-breaking catch. Aided by a suspended power block, crew members haul in the last fathoms of seine net. In our second then photo, filling every available deck surface during the big 1958 catch, 80,000 pounds of sockeye salmon threaten to swamp the boat while crew members attempt to adjust the load. In our first now photo, the 65-foot Emancipator, now restored, berthed at Ballard's Fisherman's terminal. It continues life as a tender, transporting over 1 million pounds of fish last year. Owner-operator Brad Buskey stands at the prow. In our second now photo, in the 105-year-old wheelhouse, simplicity reigns. The original wheel remains in place, as does the chain connecting it to the flying bridge above and rudder below. In busy Puget Sound, Buskey eschews any autopilot mechanisms, preferring to steer the boat manually. In our third now photo, we see the cover of The Big Run by former crew member Ray Fadich. The book details the dramatic story of the Emancipator's 1958 bonanza, along with colorful portraits of its crew.